why I was always doing well is because I'm taking my experiences and I'm deconstructing them and then for people. And I try to do that with as much skill as I can. And that means taking the craft writing seriously, developing that.
The part you said about being relatable, but also people are inspired, they want to be like you. That's something I try to do as well. Because like I learned quite a bit from you, like in the rise and everything, and I see that and I saw that. So for me, like I try to share problems, I try to share my pain, I try to share my relationship stuff, I share the travels that I'm doing, and I also sometimes do it in a way that it's also aspirational. And so like I don't sit there and talk about things that I'm not doing. And we were joking about this the other day. Some guy that works with me is like, bro, you can talk about so much more. And I'm like, no, but it's just not relatable. Like for me, I know, and I'm more and more becoming, I guess, more aware of it, but I know why people follow me. The more clarity I get on that, I just hone into those points. And sure, I talk about other stuff, but as long as I stay, I'll call it pillars of Dylan Madden. Same with you. As long as you stay on the pillars of Latimore, people find that interesting. People want to be like you. People relate to you, so they want to learn and buy, etc. So for somebody that maybe and I already know your answer because we've known each other for so long, but for somebody still figuring out who they are and they want to create content, they actually are an authority to a few different things. How can they start synthesizing their story, really crafting who they are as a person, like their personality?
So I'll tell you a story to kind of reinforce what I'm going to say. When we were working to redesign the website into the entity that you see now, John wanted me to have 3 categories, and I was like, oh God, right? I write about so many different stuff. Eventually, we set it on 5. Now, if you look, I'm pretty sure there's like 11, and there's about to be 12. Because here's what you got to understand: when I started this website, it's adlatimore.com for a reason. I didn't name it boxing, and I didn't name it chess. I didn't name it something. No, because it's whatever I want to write about, whenever I want to write about it. And I learned that lesson from doing other blogs in the past, narrations. I said, let me just name it me. So it's always my journey. I can talk about whatever I want. People are going to dig it. By doing that, I've given myself a lot of freedom to discuss whatever's important to me and to really dig and deep dive. Like right now, I'm really going on this kick about health, in particular, peptides, seed oils, the danger to those, get my vitamin D audit, right? And so a lot of the articles are going to start reflecting it. I've never written about health or fitness before, but I'll just gradually start building an authority pillar there. And it's interesting to me. So the advice is to write what you know. Just write it. I would not worry too much about this idea of niching because I just think it's a bad idea. Unless you're building a company, then it serves you to do it there. But if you're going to be like, as James Clear says, a donkey, like like he says, unicorns are like a company that has a valuation of over a certain amount of money, and a donkey is a business of one that does over $1 million a year. And I think that's a pretty that's my goal. I think that's a fine goal, and not much more, because $1 million a year, I'm going to be very happy and very well fed and healthy and all right. But if your goal is to do something even remotely like that, even not in a million, even say 100,000, it's the difference is just scale. But how do we start initially with these? What's the initial thing to scale? Just yourself, just your thoughts, just what you put out there. I think you can do so much if you don't try to pigeonhole yourself and pigeonhole. But what that really requires, one, a bit of honesty, because you'll discover some things you just have a passing interest in, not really serious or deep. It's certainly not deep enough to write articles about, because you realize that I hate this and I don't care. And then there's the other part where you got to have the courage to share. If you have the courage to share what you're talking about, what you're interested in, what you're doing, you can do well. You know what the biggest article on my site is? How to quit porn.
Really?
That was really important to me. They would buy significant, not so much because the rest of my site has grown up, but it's still the biggest one. But for a while, it was performing every article on my site by like 2, almost 3 to 1. And that article is the result of me just being honest and talking about stuff. My stuff about sobriety has changed people's lives. But people have also found me by my stuff about math. And boxing. Just depends, right? You know, what am I interested in? Because it's my body of work. Because here's the thing. Right now, I've had a few people tell me this. If I wanted to right now, I could realistically go out and get someone and work for somebody in their content creation department and command a decent salary as well. Now, whether I ever do something like that is a completely different story. But the main idea is that what I've demonstrated over these past 10 years is that I understand how to communicate, and communicate in a way that the internet favors, and so do people. because really all the internet's trying to do is match up to what people want. It's not like the algorithm, because it's in no company's interest if the algorithm deliver the opposite of what people are looking for. That's why they spend so much time and money and energy into perfecting their algorithms, because those make or break. You want people to feel like their experience is seamless and they're getting exactly what they want. Okay. If you can do that, if you can learn to do that, and writing does that, you're going to be in good shape. But this all comes back down to, well, can you do it with what you care about, what you're interested in? What have you learned? What are you going to do? What are you going to take care of? How are you going to make people care? And look, even if that article on my site is the most popular article, it only does 1,000 visitors per day. Like, it's not like it's this King Kong schlong of the internet. It's just my most popular article. You know?
Right. So for the people that like, they're starting to create content, and this is not for the person that doesn't have a blog, doesn't have a social media account. It's not for this person. It's for the guy that's already taking the time to put the content out there, but they're struggling to even get the attention, to get the engagement. What's some like simple advice you could give them? Like, I know copywriting and all that type of stuff, but like, how can they actually make people start caring about the story that they're sharing?
Well, make sure you share the story with the intent to teach something. Because if I just tell you, okay, one of my lots of popular articles on my site, 9 lessons from living next door, living with crackheads and next to crack dealers. By itself, you know, that's funny, but does it teach anything?
Yeah.
Do people learn something from it? Do they come away going, wow, I didn't know that was a good experience? Or like whenever I share my article about working at the homeless shelter, people get a lot from that, and they think it's just really interesting. That's what you need to do, is you have to share with the intent to teach. Share with the intent to give insight on something that people didn't have before. If you do that, your work is always going to connect with someone, inspiring, enlightening, educational, whatever.